everyone. Sorry, there's been a bit of a glitch because of the Wi-Fi connections and stuff that haven't been working. But I'm back live again and we're going to start the yoga class again. We're doing yoga for immunity with me, Vidya Malavde, to boost our immunity and take care of ourselves during this monsoon. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of yoga class with you. I'm going to be doing giving you tips and some pro tips to take care of yourself and sort of get rid of these kind of nagging stomach bugs and cold and cough that happen during monsoons. This session is brought to you by Charak Pharma, who are the leading Ayurvedic experts in the country for over 74 years now. And this is the season 3 of their Moha Seva Skin campaign, which I'm so really happy to be a part of. And so thank you, Moha, for bringing me live for all our audience. And let's just start. So I want you to just come back on your mat, sit comfortably, spine comfortably erect. Just sort of sit up a little tall, maybe a thread, like a thread going straight to from your crown onto the sky. So lift yourself a little bit taller and let's just close our eyes down and breathe. Breathe. Inhale to expand your belly. Exhale and it falls. Inhale and expand. Exhale and it falls. One more time. Inhale, expand, exhale, fall. Normally we breathe ulta, and which is which I think causes a lot of issues and problems with our organs and basically our well-being. So this is a great way to sort of reset. Inhale to expand the belly, exhale, the belly falls. And now with your eyes closed, I want you to just begin this class with one chant of Om, a strong, vibrant Om. So let's keep our eyes closed, take a deep inhale. Welcome to practice. So the first posture that we're going to be doing today is Baddha Konasana, or the bound angle pose, or butterfly some people call it. So I just want you to keep your feet together, pretty much like a namaste with your feet. Maybe your knees are here, maybe your knees are here, maybe they're touching the floor, doesn't matter, wherever you are. Just try to open the hips, the knees, the groin, interlock the fingers and put it under your feet. And all we're going to be doing these butterfly flaps. Now you could be doing small ones like this, or maybe you could actually do these. Let's just do these for 30 seconds, maybe as big as you can possibly go would be great. And yeah, like I said, this is incredible to do literally every day, to open up your hips, to open up the groin. Great for pregnant women, even for otherwise, for runners, or just basically most of us are sitting in our offices, sitting in front of TVs and computers, and this is just a great way to sort of take care of those hips and open them at whatever time you have in the day. About a minute or 2 or 5 every day would just be ideal. Just important to keep the body moving and to keep the flexibility going. Yeah, and now after we finish flapping them for a bit, we just want to take our feet and let's see if we can try and open them like a book. This is a beautiful ankle stretch as well, but be careful, not too much. Open the feet like a book. Maybe the elbows go into near the knees, and then we're going to try and see if we can go down. Now that depends, again, you might be right here, you might be here, you might be touching the floor, whatever works for you, making sure that your elbows are digging into your thighs so that your knees open wide. And let's just take 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale and come up. The next posture we're doing is the cat and cow, which is incredible. I do this before every yoga practice. It's a part of my daily routine, and I can't tell you how good it is to be actually doing the cat and cow. So you're on all fours, your shoulders are exactly over your wrists, your hips are exactly over your knees. Your knees are hip distance apart, so you look like this. And now all we're going to be doing is neutral spine. We're going to be inhaling and arch the back and look up. The tailbone comes up, look up, curve the back and look down, chin goes towards the chest. 4 more times, inhale and up, exhale, chin to chest, inhale, arch and look up, really arch the back, shoulders go back, exhale, chin to chest. 2 more times, inhale and up, exhale and down. Last time, inhale and up, exhale and down. Now this time I want you to come up and just move in whichever way your body feels good. Now it's incredible to just be allowing our spine and the movement to happen on its own without thinking about it. It's just the way your body is asking you to do something. So maybe you want to just take your leg back, or maybe you want to look back at your foot, maybe the other foot, maybe take the arm up, maybe do whatever feels good in your body. Just 30 seconds of just movement. And once we're done with that, once we allow the body to move in the ways that it feels like moving, trust me, the body becomes more flexible because we're not pushing or pulling anything, but along with it, it also really allows you to mentally become more flexible. Well, after that, we're going to be doing, come back into cat and cow and lift up, tuck the toes under, lift the knees up, and maybe just take your upper body towards the back body. Now all here I want you to do is really lengthen from the tips of your fingers all the way to the tailbone. This one line. I want you to have your stomach almost touching the thighs. So we are in a downward dog, but a bent leg downward dog. Your heels can be up, that's okay. Really, I'm looking at an elongation in the spine on this one. It really works your quadriceps as well. So elongate the spine, maybe move a little bit if you want to. And then at some point, if it allows you, you can straighten your legs out. Maybe the heels come to the floor, maybe they don't, it doesn't matter. If the legs are straight, pull the kneecaps up. Even if your feet are not touching the floor or the heels are not touching, energetically keep telling your heels to go down to the floor. It's all in the mind. Once the mind starts behaving, the body will also follow. Keep pushing the shoulders away from the ears. Keep pushing the upper body towards the back body. The tailbone moving up to the sky. Eyes of the elbows looking at each other. We're in a downward facing dog. Take 3, 2, and 1. And then from here I want you to come back on your knees and then go back and go into a belly on the floor. We're coming into a Sphinx pose. So I want the feet to be either hip distance apart, or if your back hurts, then you can have the feet mat distance apart. Your shoulders are exactly over your elbows. And your palms are shoulder distance apart. Now from here I want you to just pull your heart through and look up. Really keep pulling the heart through. So open up the upper back. Make sure that your glutes are engaged, so squeeze the glutes. Maybe the knees come up, squeeze the quadriceps. And really look up, straight in front of you, pull the heart through. If this is enough, stay here. Want to go a little further, lift your elbows up, we come into a seal pose. Making sure that the lower back is always taken care of. So push the pelvis into the floor. Tighten the glutes. Want to take it a little bit further, you can bring your palms back, but be very careful of your lower back. Keep looking in front of you. Again, the heart is what needs to push. Your back ribs are really pushing through to want to go to the front of the mat. And as you come down, you relax. Now I want you to just stand up and do a forward fold. So stand up with your head dangling down. And just come here into a standing. But you're going to take your elbows, hold your elbows. Your feet are hip distance apart. And just pull your upper body down. And And then maybe you want to just do a ragdoll. We're just releasing all the tension. If there's any tension in the back, we're releasing it. And let it go to the floor. Let your head really fall to the floor. You can bend your knees here. Whatever works for your body, you do. And then you just stay here for 3, 2, 1. Allow the neck to dangle. Really allow, when you pull your hands down to the floor, the spine gets a traction and it elongates the spine. That's what we're trying to do. If you can straighten your legs, you're also giving the hamstrings a little bit of a stretch. So whatever works for you in your body, for 3, 2, 1. Release your arms to the floor, and I want you to come up one vertebrae at a time. Lower back comes up first, then the mid back, then the upper back, and then your neck and your head comes up in the end. Beautiful. Now next one is the balancing posture. We're going to be doing the tree pose. I'll give you variations. So if you need to hold on to something, go ahead and do that, or hold a piece of furniture or whatever. Lift your right foot, maybe put it right here or here. Never on the knee, but just above the knee or below the knee, wherever it works. Also the knee might come in. We're energetically trying to push the knee towards the side. Yeah? We'll take the arms, make it into Anjali Mudra, bring it towards the heart. If you need to hold on to something, please do that. If this is very easy for you, maybe you want to take the palms up. If this is very easy for you, then maybe you want to just open your palms up like a tree and its branches, and then when there's wind swaying towards you, you just want to move. And if that is very easy for you, close your eyes and do this. And if you fall out of it, come right back into it. Who cares, right? It's all about having fun as well. Importantly, I want you to have your foot really pressing into the inner thigh and the inner thigh really pressing into the foot, because that's where you get also your balance and your left quadricep pulled up. So you really keep your left leg working and active. Awesome. Let's bring that down. Let's go on to the other side. So the left foot goes up, not on the knee. Anywhere else is okay. Left knee goes back towards the side, making sure there's that equal and opposite force with the left foot and the inner thigh. And kneecap of the right leg is pulled up, palms to the heart, maybe palms to above your head, maybe close your eyes, maybe open the palms out, maybe sway to the breeze. The wind is blowing the branches. So you see, even the basic yoga poses can be sort of made a little bit challenging depending on what your capacity is. For some, you might need to hold on to something. For some, you can close your eyes and do all of it. So it's just a practice that's really seriously never ending. Right, so let's bring the foot back down. From here, we'll go down to the floor and work a little bit of our core. So, I want you to come to Navasana. Sit on your sit bones. Your hands can be here next to you. Making sure that your spine is comfortably erect and not rounding like this. I want you to take your feet up. Now, this is the beginner posture where you want to keep your knees bent. Or then, if you want to take it a little bit more, you will just straighten your legs up. At no point will you be doing this, but the back needs to be straight. And we'll just stay here for 10 counts. We'll do 2 of these. So let's go. Arms go straight up. Either you can be here. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. 1 second break here, and we do the same thing again. Working the core, working the legs as well. So wherever it is that you are, straighten the legs or bend knees for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and back. Awesome. From here, I want you to lie down on your back. We're going to be doing a bridge pose or Setu Bandhasana. Lie down on the back. Bring your feet close to your hips. Bring your knees not wide like this, but in, again, hip distance apart. Palms on the floor. All we're going to be doing up is lifting the hips up. So really tuck the tailbone in first and then allow the hips to rise When they've got to their maximum, I want you to shimmy the shoulders in. Then either you can be straight just here, or then maybe interlock the fingers underneath. And really pull the shoulder blades towards each other. The hips have a tendency to splay out, but we try and keep them in. The inner thighs are going towards each other. Glutes are active to save your lower back. So keep the glutes active, the hamstrings are working, the quads are working, the back is arching, there's a lot going on. The chest is going towards the chin, not the chin towards the chest, yeah? So keep moving the chest towards the chin. Shoulder blades going towards each other. Stay there for 5, 4, 3, 2. Release the arms. Bring the upper back, mid back, lower back onto the floor. Beautiful. After this one, we're going to be going into a twist now, which is just one of the most beautiful things that you can do for your system actually. So again, knees stay bent. We'll take the knees to the right, or we'll take them first to the left, and bring the arms out in a T, and keep your gaze towards the right side. So this is a beautiful little twist. If you want to go a little further, you can also do this. It's like a Garudasana twist then. Whatever works for you. Even the basic twist is amazing. Making sure that your shoulders are on the floor and your knees are also on the floor. Now the right shoulder will have a tendency to lift up, which is okay, but try and see if you can keep the right shoulder down as well. And really feel the twist all throughout the spine. Inhale and come up. Let's go on to the other side. This time, knees together in one line, go to the right side. Left shoulder on the floor, looking towards the left side. Just stay here. Feel that wonderful little twist in your spine. Spine twists are incredibly important and a part of every yoga session because they really ring out your spine, of course, and create space there. But also great for your internal organs because they sort of bring out all the bad blood, the stale oxygen from your internal organs, and infuse them with fresh blood, fresh oxygen, fresh energy, fresh life. So spine twists are amazing and I love them, and they're a part of all my teaching sessions and practice sessions. Right, one last thing we do is bring the knees towards your belly and hang on to them. Apanasana or Pavan Muktasana. If you want, you can hold them here. If you want, you can just grab your elbows or your hands, whatever works for you. And maybe one last beat, you want to just get into this little position where your head also comes towards your knees. And then release everything. You put your feet down. Or just sort of, let's just take a little bit of circles with your knees because that also helps open your hips a little bit. All these asanas that we've done are wonderful to be done any time of the day. In fact, some of the sitting, lying down ones can be done even when you're just waking up and you're in your bed. So that was the quick practice for you all. After this, there's a pranayam that I'm going to be teaching you, and I think it's one of the most effective ones, especially during monsoons. We're going to be doing the Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati means skull shining or forehead shining. So, and it's really, really great if you can start doing it every day. It builds incredible immunity. It's great for your lungs. It's awesome for your colds and coughs to ward off all of them. So let's just start. I've done many lives on this as well, so you can go back and check. I'm going to give you the way to do your Kapalbhati right now. So sit again comfortably erect in any you could be sitting on a chair, you could be sitting on a bed, wherever. Spine needs to be erect. What you want to do is breathe normally. The inhale will happen. The exhale is a forceful exhale. So I'm going to just show it to you first and then we can do it. So inhale happens normally and then exhale is exhaling out. You need to get some tissue or something to wipe your nose out, do that. But let's just start with this. People who have glaucoma, people who have high blood pressure, please be mindful, don't be too forceful with your exhale. Everybody else, even pregnant women, be a little mindful. But otherwise, let's just start. We'll do 5 rounds and the second set we'll do 10 rounds, okay? So let's take a nice inhale and go. Slow down, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. Normal inhale and exhale. Next round, we're going to be doing 10 of these, making sure that, I see a lot of people doing, so all this is not happening. The only thing that is, your nose is throwing it out and your belly is sucked in when you're doing that, yeah? So that's all we are doing. Now, take a nice deep inhale. Let's go. And come down. It can make you feel slightly lightheaded, which is why we are only doing 5 and 10 counts. When you get proficient at it, you can do 20, 30, 50, whatever, hundreds of counts. But for now, this is how you'll be doing Kapalbhati. And like I said, an incredible immunity booster this one is. Should be practiced every single day. Now for a few tips from my end for you. There's something that I do which works wonderfully for me. There's a tea that I make. It's just my concoctions. I think it's phenomenal. It's like a gut cleanse for you. It's a gut healing tea, and these are all the ingredients that you find in your house. So I just take, I have like 2-3 cups of this every day. I take like some boiling water, 2-3 cups. I add a piece of grated ginger. Now, I like it really strong and kadak, which is why I boil the ginger with the water for almost 10 minutes or sometimes more if I have a headache or something. So yeah, boil the ginger, then I add a little bit of lemongrass in it. Smells so good also. Also add a little bit of sauf or fennel seeds in it. Fennel seeds are incredible for digestion. Also I add a little mint leaves. Mint leaves, just a couple of them to add on top once the tea is brewed. So I boil all of this for about say 5 to 10 to sometimes 15 minutes like I said. You see how much ever you like, and then put a little mint on top and maybe a little nimbu ka squeeze, and I have. You can add a few like green tea leaves in it as well. Sometimes I do that. And even otherwise, if you don't add the green tea leaves, if or tea or whatever, just brewing these 4 or 5 ingredients together is wonderful to set your gut right. It's wonderful to take care of your colds, coughs. It's a very warming drink, and I really like to have it at about 4 p.m. in the evening, but you can have it in the morning or whenever you like. And I just feel like, it takes care of, I used to have migraine issues. It's taken care of my migraine issues. It's really, really healing for my gut. I've had a bad gut and many issues with my gut for lifetime. But over the last 5 years, they've all sort of given me a big relief. That's the one thing that is there. That's a monsoon staple, and that's like my life staple. I have this tea pretty much every day. The other thing that's specific to monsoons is I eat a lot of raw food otherwise. But during monsoons, I'm very careful that I steam my vegetables and eat. So even if I'm making a salad, apart from the lettuce, I always steam all the other vegetables and I eat, whether it's carrots or beetroots or whatever it is. They're always steamed, especially spinach and greens are very, very important to be steamed and cooked and eaten in this period of time. It's really a big no-no to have them because they're full of bacteria and other kinds of things that you do not want to consume. So that's the big thing. Coming on to something, one of these products that I've been using now for a very long time. I love the Moha aloe gel because it is so light and it is so amazing on the skin. I feel like my skin really gets dry and flaky during the monsoons. I have a T-zone area as well. So I really love this because I actually, my go-to thing is mixing some of this, mixing it with a little bit of essential oil. I love, say, sea buckthorn oil or rose hip oil, and I actually mix them and make it into a cream, or even mix them every day in my palms like this, and I'm just happy to apply it everywhere. Some of it on my palms, and I think it just makes your skin so supple and so radiant from within. I truly enjoy it. It's got rose, it's got aloe, it's got cucumber. These are beautiful ingredients to be putting on your face and your body. Mind you, I use it on my body as well because it's really light. And yeah, so it's just one of those things that are like go-to for everything. Aloe is just go-to for everything. You have sunburn, this is your answer. You have itchy, flaky skin, this is your answer. You want great skin on your face, this is your answer. So yeah, this is one of my favorite products from Moha Life. The other one that I really have started enjoying now is this foot cream. This is incredible. This foot cream has papaya, it has aloe, and it has peppermint, and I think it works wonderfully with your cracked feet, with any, you have these days in monsoons, there's fungal infections that happen between the toes and stuff. This is your answer for it. And I have a challenge for you on this one. We're doing the money back challenge with Moha Life. If you use it for 5 days and if you don't see improvement, you get all your money back. So this one's like a keeper. You must use it. And I mean, I enjoy taking care of my feet and my hands and my whole self, as you all know. So this one's really, again, a keeper for me. So yeah, I hope you've sort of enjoyed my little class with Moha, and these are the few tips that I could give you. The 10 asanas that we did today are for beginners. They can be practiced every day, anytime. So start your yoga journey with them. And I really want to thank Moha Life again for bringing me on board. And this session, I know there were glitches, but this one we've managed to finish, and I'm really grateful. Thank you, Charak Pharma, for bringing me on board. And as the season 3 of Moha Seva Skin continues, today was with me. Tomorrow live 5 p.m. we're going to sort of great dewy makeup for the monsoon, and it's going to be taken by this TV actor called Smriti Khanna, and also makeup artist Dikshita, and it's going to be tomorrow, Saturday. Thank you again so very much for joining me on this amazing yoga journey and healing journey. And thank you so much, Charak Pharma and Moha Life, for having me here over and over again. It's truly a privilege and an honor to be doing this live with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, my audience. That feels so good. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to take a couple of questions if you have any. Very nice session. Thank you so much, Rohit. Anybody else? Good job, really. Thank you, guys. Sorry about the glitches that happened in the middle. And
question related.
Yes, go ahead.
Like people who are working from home, what can they do?
What can they do?
In terms of the exercises. Easy.
So, like I said, so most of the stuff that we did can be practiced by everybody. It can be practiced in your house. You barely need a yoga mat. Sometimes when I don't have a yoga mat in a hotel room, I use a towel, really. So it's all about moving yourselves. It's all about motivation. There are so many excuses that we give ourselves that sometimes, just say no to the excuses and start doing this practice. I did a very basic practice only because I want each one of you to come out there and do this. It will only take you about 15 to 20 minutes to finish this whole practice, and I really do hope that you'll see the change in yourself the moment you start doing it regularly. The hips will start opening, the core strength will start building, the legs will get straighter, the forward folds will become better, the spine will feel elongated, and so on and so forth. So yes, and if there's anybody else and any more questions. It's not going up. Right. So you guys, Okay. Sports by Grade, you have a YouTube channel for yoga? Yes, I have a YouTube channel for yoga. You can go join Vidya Malavde, that's my YouTube channel. And very informative. Thank you so much, Chetan. Twice a day? Yes, you can do this 2-3 times a day. Thank you so much. It was really useful. Thank you, Rosh. Thank you so much, guys. Then again, thank you so much for joining us, and see you again very soon.